Hello Ratbags, it's Jade, welcome to the Access Show. Today a roundup of everything you need to know about survival games and indie in the last week and what's coming in the future weeks. Starting off with Citadel's Forged with Fire, we're also going to be talking about Outward, brand new content for that game. In fact, lots of games have got new updates, and the future of games like Green Hell. Are we going to see console support? Well, we've got actual confirmation again that we're going to see console support for that game next year. And a bunch of other stuff, including Conan Exiles preview of their brand new DLC. And a whole lot more. You just saw the trailer though for Citadel Forged with Fire. Dragons, really try and make a big play on this fact, typing into that art crowd that love Tames, and that's pretty much what they've aimed to do over the last 2 years of development. It's a mystical, magical takedown of survival games, but with RPG tropes. This, however, is not Citadel Forged with Fire, but it was created from that game. It is Broomstick League, I kid you not. They implemented this into the main game, and it pissed off the small fan base that was still playing Citadels last year, mainly because they felt like a lot of attention was gone into this when it should have been going into the main game. Well, maybe wisely, devs have split this into a separate game mode. I think this got revealed last week, but it just caught my eye, and I thought while we're talking about Citadels, we might as well talk about this. Yes, you can ride a broomstick in Citadel Forged with Fire, and this new game that's coming out next year, Broomstick League, is something else that you can also ride a broomstick on. What does it look like to you guys? I mean, who would have thought Rocket League, a game about cars kicking a football, would have been actual fun? But it's one of the biggest games ever. So maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe this will be great when it comes out. But thankfully, I think they've jettisoned a lot of this from Citadel's Forged with Fire. Speaking of Citadel's Forged with Fire, as we really are meant to be doing, if you don't know, the game has been delayed to November the 1st, but it will be coming out on physical copy edition. Now, I've been trying to warn people a little bit to really take a look at reviews on this one, or definitely wait until streamers are playing it to see the gameplay for yourself. It's an okay game on Steam at the moment. There are some really good stuff in it, there's also some bad stuff. What I have noticed though is developers really pushing over the last few months to highlight the good stuff from the game. Taming is there, creatures are there, spell casting is there, and a real emphasis on building as well. There's some good stuff to love, and obviously on Xbox and PlayStation there just aren't enough of these type of games, so I think it'll end up probably doing quite well. There are definitely some drawbacks with it, and I really want to give you my full lowdown as we get closer to release. Don't forget, November the 1st now coming out, rather than what it was meant to be. I think October the 10th or 16th or something like that. But yeah, you can see what's going on here. Lots of building, really detailed building as well. You can make some fantastic structures with this, and it is PvP based as well. Although there are going to be servers, I do believe, that aren't PvP, where you can just run around on PvE, just taking down creatures. Don't have to worry about Harry Potter coming up and ruining your keep or your castle. So yeah, Citadel Forged with Fire, definitely something interesting, but definitely something you need to keep an eye on before going out there and pre-ordering or purchasing on day one. For sure, the devs have been working really hard over the last 6 months. They've had quite a few big chunky updates, correcting and balancing a lot of things, and adding still lots of content. So hopefully it is in a good shape once it hits console in just a few weeks time now. Outward was a game that polarised a lot of people. Some people really liked it, other people hated it, thought it was really clunky. I was kind of in the middle. I appreciated some aspects of it. I liked the fact it was an RPG survival game, but I did find it a bit basic and just a bit lifeless. Lots of you guys though disagreed with me, so much so though, and said it was a great game, you just had to put a good chunk of hours into it to really appreciate it. Well, the developers have recognised that maybe the end game was a bit lacking, and something much requested was a hardcore mode. They've put that in now. There's an update that should have just gone live, I do believe, or it's due any time now for Xbox, PlayStation, and I think the Epic Games Store, where Outward is getting a hardcore mode. 20% of the time, instead of just being locked away in a prison, is what normally happens when you lose a life or you lose an encounter or you get put into a village or you end up on the beach. They always give you some sort of story for when you lose. Now 20% of the time you may actually just die and you'll have to start a new character all over again. So definitely a challenging mode there, and also adding in endgame bosses, new endgame loot to go for. So really good move from Outward. It has been a while since it come out. They have been updating the game, they've been polishing and fixing, and obviously this one comes with a bunch more fixes as well. So are you going to be hyped about playing on Outward? Maybe I should dive in one night on a live stream on Mixer. Make sure you follow the links in the description box down below to check out more and more me streaming on Mixer. And yeah, let me know what Outward's like for you now with the brand new update. Don't Starve Together, the pretty much multiplayer version of Don't Starve, has received a bunch of updates, also DLC that you can pay for new characters and stuff. Well, this next one, Salty Sea Dogs, is a free update for the game. It's got new locations or new environmental hazards and just a bunch of new stuff as well to contend with. I love Don't Starve. It's one of them games that I always want to try and make more time to play. Absolutely loads of different ways to play in it, with it's just the original game with the DLCs on the console, or Don't Starve Together, which is, I think, the console updates are a little bit behind PC, so expect this to come out on Xbox and PlayStation soon, but maybe in a few weeks' time. It's not all just about hyping up good stuff, and there are some contentious issues that I like talking about, as you might know from my channel. 7 Days to Die is definitely one of the contentious issues. You guys know that I've been trying to keep you in the loop of what's going on with Xbox and PlayStation, and if we're ever going to see any updates come to the game. We're at this stage nearly 2.5, 3 nearly updates behind. Console is on like Alpha 15, some aspects of that, I think that's pretty much the biggest update. So we're still waiting for 16, 17 and 18, which is about to launch on PC. So why I'm talking about it right now? Well, they're basically doing a streamer weekend again. They've done this in the past with Alpha 17. They're letting a bunch of streamers, handpicked or who could apply, show off the content from Alpha 18 first over this weekend. So it should be live. You should start seeing your favourite 7 Days to Die streamers play this. It's not really a slight on them. Obviously, they're into it big time. They're PC crowd. That's what they like playing. But I really don't like the way developers do this. And I can't think of many that do this. 7 Days to Die is in alpha still. It still has not even got a release date of actually ever being completed or finished. And yet we're giving preferential treatment to streamers. I understand when a new game's about to launch, you get the idea. Big streamers get copies of the game. And even I've had copies of a game before it comes out. But to give streamers content, an update content, a whole weekend before everyone else, that just doesn't make sense to me. It feels like it's just giving that content to everyone. It's an update. It's not a brand new game. Let everyone have it at the same time and let everyone watch the streamers play it as they're playing it, or watch it as they're playing it. So let me know what you think about this. Does this hype you up and get you all excited seeing your favourite streamers playing it? Or would you rather they just made it worthwhile for everyone and experience it all at the same time? It's the most asked question on my channel. Do I have any more new news? When I do get some new news, I'll share it with you. I have been working on a history of 7 Days to Die and the whole Sargon situation, but it takes a long time to make sure I get right. So expect that video very soon, and any new news you'll be the first to know. Okay, Conan Exiles has been solidly releasing a DLC of late. Just had the Blood and Sand that added arena options and more armors and weapons to the game, and now they're showing off the brand new DLC, Debauchery of Takatu, which is basically a whole load of role-playing items. You can have your own bar, your own style pub. There's all sorts of pleasure items in there as well, unique luxurious beds, lots of role plays, lots of placeables, and one of the biggest things is tree platforms. So you're going to be able to build your bases on these tree platforms that basically just work in a hexagon shape and make it a bit easier than placing some sort of foundation piece. Don't worry, I did think initially, oh my god, are they letting people buy a DLC that they're the only ones that can build these bases? But the community manager let me know in Twitter and said that you could actually place foundation pieces on the trees. So even without the tree platforms, you can go ahead and build yourself a little tree base. It does come with some armor sets, but the most of it I think is clothing and, just like I said, a role plan set. This is all part of the Season 2 Season Pass if you already own it. Otherwise, you can buy it separately for $9.99, and it is going to be coming out this October, which means the next DLC after that is Riders of Iboria, which I'm really excited for. I will just mention as well, if you've seen the Wine Cellar map or Wine Cellar dungeon recently, that's the other thing they showed off last week. That will be coming for free as part of this update for the Takatu Debauchery. But yeah, Hyboria Riders, it's coming. Mounts coming in December. That's the big one that everyone's going to be really super excited for. It's going to be interesting to see how they implement it with the DLC. And this might only interest a few people who are really hardcore fans of Conan, but Tencent, the company behind 40% of Epic Games, they own 5% of Activision, 5% of Ubisoft, and outright owners of League of Legends, they have now bought a 30% share in Funcom. We could see a lot more expertise, a lot more engineering, and it's actually a good thing because they do a lot of work. They've obviously got their own free-to-play Rings of Elysium. Maybe this will all go into Conan in the future, some of the technology they bring. and also maybe their next game, June, which is going to be a big multiplayer game too. So it's a good thing they've done that. It doesn't affect anything. No one of the creators is leaving or anything like that. It just means business as usual, but they'll have more access to more tools, technology and investment to hopefully make better games and improving on Conan and much more in the future. December's going to be such a big month. We've got mounts on Conan, and of course we've got Ark Survival Evolved and the Genesis DLC. What one are you more hyped for, Conan or Ark? Let me know in the comment section down below. And just some quick news in shorts, as I said at the start, Green Hell has announced a brand new roadmap where they're basically announcing that yes, they're going to be bringing controller support, which is much needed. They're also adding a bunch more content, the first of which is going to be more build pieces, more build options, then controller support. Then they'll be looking at adding co-op play, and they're bringing it to consoles next year. So it is a bit of a delay. I think this stuff was meant to be coming out a little bit straight after release, or some of it, but it looks like they are going to be working more and more on it. They've been showing off screenshots of their motion capture and stuff like that. So co-op is going to be interesting. I'm presuming you're going to play as the hero's wife. Maybe it'll be someone else. I don't know how they're going to fit that in. I hope it's nothing stupid like The Forest, where it's 4 characters literally all looking for your dads or your sons, because that's what happens in The Forest. You crash land, and instead of just being one survivor, it ends up being 4 dads. It's a bit silly. So I hope they implement it a little bit better. But yeah, Green Hell coming to console, Xbox and PlayStation, once more confirming. And they did announce a little while ago that it was going to be appearing on Switch too. I really enjoyed Green Hell. I still got yet to finish the story, so make sure you check out my live streams. I will be finishing the story of the game in the live streams very soon. Forager is a great game that I sunk a lot of time to on my Switch. I absolutely love this game. It's a cute sandbox, grindy sort of game where you just gather resources. Well, they have announced with an AMA that it's going to be coming to Xbox. Previously, it's the only system it's not available. It can get on Switch, the PS4 and PC. So I'm really pleased to see that Forager is going to be coming to Xbox. No release date, but they have said committed it will be coming eventually. The combat update is looking likely to launch properly on PC this month, and hopefully that means the consoles are also going to get the combat update. It looks like we're also going to receive for console, PS4 and Switch the combat update and the previous updates that are still a good few months behind PC, all in one go. So if you like crafting, you like scavenging, and you basically like just these types of games, absolutely look out for Forager on the Xbox eventually, and go and check it out on PlayStation, on Switch now. And hopefully the updates won't be too far behind, with the brand new combat adding new boss mechanics and a hard mode too. More previews now, and Raft is coming along nicely. They're adding even more areas to explore and islands. The latest update that's going to be coming soon is going to be a forest update that's basically got a huge forest with bears, all sorts of good stuff. Lots of artwork being shown off for how it's going to look on the models. Also automation of assault. You're going to have engines now to power your raft, or at least one engine, and a way to move it around with a special rudder and steering wheel. So good stuff coming for Raft in the future. Scrap Mechanic is another game that I can't wait to get their survival mode finished. Unfortunately, it's a bit bad news. There's still no release date for it. Scrap Mechanic's been around for about 3 years now, and it's mostly been sandboxing creative mode they've had, but survival mode is coming. It's looking interesting. Just from these gifts, you're going to be fighting off against these robots, sort of straw robots I think they're called, and the survival elements are pretty unique, especially with the building stuff that you can do, really advanced stuff. So really looking forward to this. This is going to blow up massively when it eventually does come out. Hopefully it'll come to console one day, but at the moment it's a Steam only game. So lots of lovely screenshots, lots of lovely gifs. Scrap Mechanic, absolutely can't wait to check out the open world nature of it once survival eventually comes. It's looking probably likely not till Christmas time now though. And finishing off with a new look at a dev blog by the Last Oasis devs, Donkey Crew. The game has been pushed back to next year. I've let you guys know about this. You know I'm keeping the tabs on this open world survival game with real unique differences from what you're used to playing. So I'm sure it's going to keep you guys up to date on this one, and hopefully we'll see this come very soon in 2020. The latest devlog video though centres on combat and how it's going to be really skill based. They don't want to play survival games where it's all just about mindlessly hacking. You've really got to have a learning and deep progression of this. So it may take a while to master, but it will be rewarding. There's going to be stamina based attacks. You're going to have to think about that level, and there's all going to be sorts of riposte and defensive places that you need to really centre yourself. And the sword fighting does look pretty cool. I really like the look at this. Of course, they are pretty famous for being modders from Mount and Banner, I do believe, back in the day. So it's interesting to see how much this is going to be implemented into their first full proper game. One negative I would say is though that loosely based mouse combat doesn't always appeal as much as you think it was, just because you're frantically changing your camera angle quite a bit, and it's not the best in terms of immersion for me, but some people I think will really appreciate it. So that's what we're finishing off today. The Access Show, the best in independent news, gaming, as well as survival, RPGs, you name it, I've got it down for you. Make sure you're liking the video, and I'll see you right back for another Access Show very soon.